See, he knows he's on camera. Neil, say something to the camera.
Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube? That's what you said? That's so cute. We didn't even start the YouTube channel yet. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Shinobi of All Trades coming to you with a figure review for the Mega Construx Scyther. Now, I usually don't collect Lego figures, but this one actually looked really nice. I usually don't collect them because they get a little blocky like this. It's Legos, but the Scyther actually looks really smooth. This book, it contains the instructions for how to put them together piece by piece, as you can see. But to save time, I already put him together, and I'm gonna show you how he looks. And here he is, the Mega Construx Scyther. This actually looks really good, especially for the fact that it's a Lego figure. When I first heard that it was a Scyther, to be honest, the only Pokemon I got excited for at the time of seeing Lego Pokemon was Onix, because his body, his form, you know, you can't go wrong with a blocky form for Onix, and Porygon as well, which I have both of them. But when I saw this, I was like, I had to have it. You won't really find great Scyther figures, and this actually looks really good. So I'm gonna cover points of articulation, and then like the pros and cons, whether you should or shouldn't keep the box, and all that stuff. So first, his scythes, they can go up and down, they can rotate left to right in 360. They can go a little, I would say about 100-degree angle, maybe actually a bit more than 100 degrees at right here. I'll say 120, just because it's almost at a 180 degree. His shoulder also moves, I would say at about a 90 degree. It swivels, and it's for both sides, of course. His legs go forward and back, not too much left and right unless you twist at the ankle and then, you know, just go like this. But that's more of like if you're gonna make him sit down. Let's see if he can sit down. He could sort of, it looks a little weird, but he's not really meant to sit down anyway. And then his head, let me see, it can open, it can move left and right, up and down. It's on a ball joint, which is cool. The Legos, it's on a ball joint, most of the parts for him. It can turn all the way around 60 degrees. He can move his head. Oh, I wouldn't say 180, but close to 180. If you push it too far, it just snaps off, but you can put it back on. And his back, his wings are made out of a very thin plastic, very flexible. It looks kind of cool when it vibrates. But I'm actually happy that they did it like this, and it's not a Lego piece too much. It could have looked good either way, but I think it's nice that it's thin like this. And as you can see, he's not too blocky. He probably his feet a little bit, but that's more in the back. Well, in the front too. But it's not a big deal. If you're wondering what this is the stand for the mini diorama they made for him. I'm actually a little surprised the little diorama piece isn't that big, but at the same time, Onix, the one for Onix wasn't that big either. Especially considering that he had 5 other Pokemon with him in the box. So I would say overall this figure looks very, very good. I'm very nitpicky when it comes to figures. If I didn't like it how it looked on the box, I wouldn't have bought it, honestly. It's just a little blocky here, but that's not a big deal. It's covered up. Like I said, I'm very nitpicky when it comes to figures. So, you know, the fact that I bought him, like, like I said, you don't really find that many good Scyther figures. This is probably the biggest Scyther. This is the biggest Scyther figure I've ever seen. It's almost as big as the Scizor that I have, and it's not a Lego. It's one of the really old Scizor figures that it's supposed to be like an action one. And this actually stands at a really good height next to Scyther. I would say this is about 4 inches, maybe? No, yeah, it's about 4 inches. Whoops. Put that back in. Well, also his hip is on a ball joint too, which is really good. It can move 360 degrees all the way around. Up, down, left, right, diagonal. And as you can see, his claws are actually really nice too. They're really nice shape. His scythes, I'm happy that they kept the scythes very simple, especially since it didn't need any like crazy blocky detail or anything like that. And now it also comes with a diorama. You have to also build this, but it's like very simple. It's supposed to have an action where he can slice this wood piece. And now I'm just gonna attach him here. Okay, let's see. Now, in the picture, it shows you exactly how it's supposed to look, I guess. I didn't want to put the Pokeball where it is in the picture, because it would just fall off. There was like a little peg stand that it shows over here, which I had placed the Pokeball on so it could just stand. And it's cool, you could just pose him like if he's about to attack this. Let me see. And with this little leverage that's created for the diorama, you could just swing him around and he cuts it. And it hit right where it slices. But what I like to do is I like to place it a little higher, just so that when it hits here, yes, I know it doesn't match up with the slice. Whoops. A little too high. Take 2. Like about right there. Just slice, and then when you bring him back, Jesus Christ, it's not working with me right now. He just brings it back like that. That's how I displayed it. I'm lazy, so I don't have to keep messing with it like I just did. But like, overall, this is really cool. Now, the pros is that design wise, articulation wise, he can move, he can stand without any support. If you didn't care for the diorama piece, it looks perfectly fine without it. Like, he can move as well as, I would say, some SH Figure Arts figures. Like, he looks almost like he could actually play it off as a SH Figure Arts figure if this was just a little smoother, because of all his points of articulation. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 2, 4, 6. He has about 12 points of articulation, splitting it down the middle. Now, of course, I mentioned the pros. It has very good articulation. Its design is very sleek for the fact that it's Legos. The design choice for the wings was really nice. Now, the cons for the wings is that this kind of plastic, if you place it wrong, like let's say you want to put it in storage and you just throw him in with a bunch of other figures, if you don't be careful, you can bend up his wings and it will take that form. Like, it'll crease up. It'll most likely crease up. It won't do it as easily. It's only if you put too much pressure on it and you cause a crease. Another thing is, I would say certain parts, like earlier when before I started the video, this piece came off. Some pieces do come off, but it shouldn't happen too often as long as you're like constantly shifting the joints. Like, for example, he can't move his arm this way, but if you spin this a little, he can move it now. Like, as long as you're paying attention to what you're moving and how you want to move it, it should be fine. I had the upper body fall apart on me while I was making it, or while I was building it, and I had to, like, I was so confused. And one of the reasons was because I put a piece that looks very similar to another piece in, and it was unstable. So make sure when you put it together, you're putting all the right pieces in. And the piece I'm talking about specifically it's a circular piece that you will use for the joints right here, but it's also inside his chest. But yeah, it made it uneven and I couldn't put the wings in until I took it apart. So make sure you do it right the first time. I would recommend this to anyone who, 1, loves Scyther, but 2, you should also have patience while putting this together, because I mean, well, this one didn't take too long compared to the Onyx one, which I will do a review of. But if you don't have patience and you're not good at putting things together, unless you have someone that you know that will be willing to put it together for you. I mean, it's not a huge hassle, but some people just don't have the patience to do it. I would recommend getting them to do it for you. I think that's it for the cons. There's nothing really wrong with this. Like, it's very nice. Aside from, Legos falling apart, you can glue certain parts together. I didn't do that. But if you do, just a quick tip, don't glue any ball joints. Anything that makes it like move around, don't glue any of those pieces. I did have this part fall apart on me once, but it's not giving me a problem now. But if it does give you a problem, just make sure you don't glue the yellow pieces inside the arm to anything. And if you do glue anything, make sure it's clean. You're not using excess glue, otherwise it could get to the other pieces and you lose a point of articulation, and you don't want to do that. Anything that the yellow joints are connecting to, just don't glue it. Or anything that looks like a ball joint. Now for the box, whether you should keep it or not. In my opinion, absolutely not. I mean, it looks exactly like this on the cover. And then the back of it, no, in the back it doesn't show that. It just shows the pose again. It's not a very fancy box. I mean, it looks nice, but it's also very skinny. Remember, it's only holding the Lego pieces. It's not casing the figure while it's put together. So it's very skinny. There's no real reason of keeping it unless you're gonna take apart the figure, and you know, unless you wanna like resell it and take all the pieces apart. Like there's no really real reason to keep it. I would recommend keeping this though. Like I said, the chest fell apart on me once and I had to rebuild the chest, so I would definitely recommend always keeping these books, because you never know if maybe one day you decide to take it apart and you want to put it back together. If you don't have this, unless you look it up, you're gonna be screwed. But yeah, so I would rate this figure, in all honesty, a 5 out of 5. If you really want to get down into like for example 0.1 and stuff like that, I would rate it a 4.9, because it can fall apart. But like I said, you could always glue the parts that fall apart. But honestly, it doesn't really need any gluing. He looks great. But yeah, I would rate it a 5 out of 5 for fans, and like especially since I'm like very nitpicky on detail, it's very good. And it's Legos, but it doesn't feel super cheap. It's lightweight, but it's like unless you're stomping this out, I don't think it'll break. And because it's Legos, if it falls, some pieces might fall off, but you could just put it back together. So that's another bonus compared to like super high quality figures that they will sell you it, and then for example, I don't want to say bad things about certain companies because I haven't had my own figures break on me, but like anything that's PVC or resin, like it falls, if it doesn't break, good, but it can just snap off if it falls. I had a family member send me a figure in the mail, and one of its arms broke off, even though it was in bubble wrap. So, like, I mean, I blame the postal service, but anyway. So yeah, 5 stars for this. I recommend it to anybody. It's only about $13. Maybe 14 or 15 because of taxes. You're never gonna get around that unless you know somebody or if you just buy it on eBay or something and they sell it for a flat rate with no shipping. But yeah, that's all about this figure. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I will be doing more reviews on my figures. I have Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Pokemon, Naruto, Bakugan. I have like Fullmetal Alchemist, but not too much of that. Like I have a few different types of figures. So if you want, just let me know what you want me to review on, like which like topic or which like show. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Shinobi of All Trades signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand. them is my call.